Hey everybody, Lance here inside CEI Bookstore. Happy to be joined today by Miss Kim Dozier. She is a local author of children's books, and we've got her here as our guest reader today for story time at 10 o'clock every Thursday in June and July here at CEI Bookstore. Kim, welcome to the bookstore.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. Want to talk to you about these books because it's neat for us to get to have a local author in the bookstore. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind your books and how you got into writing.
Well, actually, I kind of fell into it by accident. I was not planning on doing it. I've always loved books and loved reading, but never thought I could write one. And so really, I just sat down at the computer and I started typing, and the story just kind of flowed out. And that's really how all of the books have written themselves. So I just say that I kind of hold the pen and I do the typing, and God just kind of gives me ideas, and I get them out there. And I don't, I'm just wanting to reach people with His message through the books.
Talk about your family and your girls a little bit, if you don't mind, because that seems to be a little bit of the inspiration behind all of this as well.
Yes. Our oldest daughter, who is now 27 years old, she's married and she has a baby. And so that's kind of neat getting to start reading with the grandchild now too. But our oldest daughter was in first grade. She was sick with pneumonia. We had to be cooped up in the house. And, I said, well, why don't you go take a nap while our youngest daughter, who is now 22, but when she was a baby, while she was taking a nap. And I said, y'all take your naps, I'll see what I can do to kind of get our mind off of being cooped up while she was trying to get to feeling better. And I sat down at the computer and I started typing, and again, it just kind of flowed out. And when she got up from her nap, I said, let me read something to you. And I was reading it off of the computer screen. And she said, where'd you get that? And I said, well, I just kind of made it up. And she said, can you do it again? And I said, well, I didn't know I could do it the first time, but we'll see. And then 7 stories just kind of flowed out within just a matter of a few weeks, really.
Awesome.
And so she wanted me to come and read for her class at school, and I did. And when I did, the teacher was like, oh, we need you to come read for the whole school. And so that was kind of like, okay, because I am dyslexic and I do stutter, which I might do that today, we don't know. But that was in front of 600 kids. And I thought, wow, I don't know if I can do that. But I prayed about it and I thought, okay, God, if you are opening this door, then I can do it. And so the kids loved the story, and they all wanted a copy of the book, which of course was just a computer printout. And so my daughter, Ashlyn, who, like I said, is now 22, she was in first grade, she said, Mama, if you'll do the words, I'll do the pictures, and we'll make books together. So that's how we got started. And then my husband takes the words and the pictures, and he gets it all together and submits it for the printer. And so we are self-publishing. We also help other people to be self-publishing. So if anybody, has book ideas and things like that, we help them as well. But it's grown throughout the years. A lot of our family story is written within the stories, things like that. Just like my little butterfly, I wrote that the night before my youngest daughter started kindergarten, and now she will soon be married. And the words mean even more now, And so it's neat how the stories have grown as we've grown. And I'm just thankful that it's touching other families' lives as well.
It's a really neat story, Kim. And talk a little bit about the motto that we see with the books, the fun to read book with really good morals.
Yes.
That seems to kind of be a summary of the whole thing.
Well, fun to read books with royally good morals. The first 7 books were all of a royal nature.
Okay.
And so, to me, I feel like if you take the time to read a book, you should get something out of it.
Yeah.
And that it should benefit us now and forever. When a parent sits down to read with a child or with a grandchild, I feel like you're connecting, through that book, and you need to be connecting to God through that book. And there's so many books available nowadays. And back then, 20-something years ago, as a parent, I was seeing some of the things that children were reading, and I was like, wow, I want to try to teach good lessons that will benefit them and help them to learn good morals and things like that. And so in the Royal series, God is actually kind of represented through the king and things like that. And so that's been kind of neat, that opened doors where I could go with a good moral message where sometimes doors were not open to that. And so I'm very thankful for that, and just being able to, my grandmother, Granny lived to be almost 110.
Oh, wow.
And she used to always say, laughter softens the heart and opens the mind. And that's kind of the gist of our books, that, you know, we're covering some pretty major concerns and issues and all, but we do it in a way where the children aren't being looked at and shamed. They're laughing at these characters, but learning from these characters as well. And I really liked that.
Well, it's great work. We've been excited about this since we got you on the schedule to be able to be with us. And maybe one other thing I want to ask about the books. Some of the books have a CD that come with them. Talk a little bit about that and what that brings to the book as well.
Okay, so about 20-something years ago, when I started visiting the schools and the libraries and different avenues, because of the dyslexia and the stuttering, I have to kind of slow down and make it more of a dramatic reading kind of thing. I call it helping the stories come to life and acting it out. Making reading fun and all, but that gives my brain time to connect with my mouth, and it hopefully comes out in a better way. And so the teachers were like, oh, these kids they're excited about reading books now because of how you read when you came to visit. We wish we had you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, well, maybe we can do that.
Yeah.
You know? And so thankfully we were able to start recording me reading the books, and there's like little page turn sounds and stuff like that. And it is kind of funny. The books are not very long, but it usually takes me a few hours to record one book, because I want it to be word for word, because that child is sitting there learning to read, possibly. And so that's a fun process too. And even on some of the books, the girls are even involved, like Backwards Wizard, when they say, you know, that's them. And they were in the recording studio with me, and which actually it was just the sound booth at church. It's what we use. It wasn't like a major thing. But that's helped. And then we've even got like one CD with all of the Royal series in it. So I think it's like 90 minutes of one story right after another. So a lot of the families have been using that on trips. And of course now CDs are kind of going out, and so we're trying to think of a new way, you know, to help. So that they can like pull that up on their phone or something like that. So if anybody's got suggestions for that, we're okay with that.
Well, obviously a family effort, but something that you're leading the charge on, and just want to commend you for that. This is great work. The books are beautiful. We want to invite you to come in the bookstore here in Athens and take a look at them. Today we'll be here, obviously starting here in just a moment at 10 o'clock for story time. But anytime, come back by and take a look for Kim Dozier's books and see what this family is putting together. And then also want to invite you to visit our website, truthbooks.com, and search Kim Dozier there, and you can find what we've got available there as well. Kim, thank you so much for sharing this with us and sharing your time with us today. And really want to hope that God blesses you and what you do going forward with this work.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation, and thank you all too, and be blessed.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.